You talked about being zapped, and I was just wondering if you could share your story,
Oh
if
my
it weren't too
God.
personal.
Oh, wow. Well, um, I went to a very, very sacred area in Northern California, up in the mountains, and I had been, I'll just say we were playing, those animal medicine cards, have you seen these little animals? And I teach permaculture, and at this particular place, we would do these animal cards, and one year I picked otter, and somebody else picked otter, and we keep it to ourselves and just keep it secret for like a couple of weeks. And during that time, we were the only two people that saw otters. And this otter was actually like, was in my face. It was like, wouldn't leave me alone. And that also happened with other people who picked these animals. So the next year, I picked bison. And I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to see bison around here. This is in Northern California. But I ended up going to a place on my day off that is a very, very sacred place. We got permission from the native people. And I was just kind of, it's amazing, number of rock formations there. And I look on this rock and I think, oh, that rock looks like a bison. And that rock looked more and more like a bison, like it looked exactly like a bison. And then, I can't believe I'm saying this in front of everybody on film. And then the third eye of the bison, I saw this, like a star dancing on the third eye of the bison. And I was just thinking, wow, because it was dancing, and all of a sudden it just went right at me and zap. And ever since then, I actually feel a lot in my hands, and I feel like I'm in a flow that I'm learning how to consciously put myself in the right place at the right time, like tapping into a different kind of energy. So that's it. Great job.
The soul got zapped.
Well, and when I entered this place, I entered it in prayer. I entered it in song. I was singing sacred songs and keeping my mind very, very pure and clear as I knew how. But usually I sing in my mind. That's how I keep the chatter from coming in. That makes a difference.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm a regular reader of Reality Sandwich, and I really enjoy reading Charles Eisenstein's articles, and I was wondering if you could talk about some of the things that you've learned from your conversations with him about the gift economy.
Well, we actually have overlap, like we share like a lot of opinions, so I can't isolate what I've learned from him. I love his articles very much also. With that?
Just talk about currency.
Yeah, I mean, so I can't answer that directly, but I do recommend people checking out on Reality Sandwich is my web magazine. It's a complement to our social network, evolver.net. And Charles Eisenstein is one of our best writers, and he's written an amazing series of articles about what he talks about as sacred economics and gift economies. And yeah, I mean, I also very much believe that the current economic system is at the root of the problems we're facing. That basically we're in a swindle, where the creation of the economic unit, which is monopolized, used monopolistically, is that it's created by a financial elite through the banking system who are then able to control it in all these different ways, and basically have created a system where people who contribute nothing to human knowledge, to human value, are getting paid $900,000 a minute or whatever the hell it is, while people who teach, people who garden, people who create are totally shafted. And I think there needs to be more of an uprising against this situation. And a redressing, and the way to do that would, beyond that, another way to do it is to approach it through creating a set of complementary currencies, alternative ways for people to exchange value that take us away from this monetary system. And if you want to look into that, in our film we talked to Bernard Lietaer, who's brilliant on the subject. He wrote a book called The Future of Money, And the other main expert is this guy Tom Greco, who wrote a book called The End of Money and the Future of Civilization. And hopefully Charles's book will come out next year.
We have time for one more question.
Okay. Hi, I want to thank you for having this exchange back and forth. It's nice to hear about the people who are in that room as well as you. And as thought leaders for this new change, you get around. I'm kind of located in Seattle. What are you seeing as you go around that's encouraging to you about this new age coming, especially as quickly as you hope?
I can address that. I was just in Istanbul, Turkey, and been around a lot, Mexico as well. And what's really encouraging is that everybody's really concerned about the same things we're concerned with, and it doesn't matter where you go. You go to Indonesia, Latin America, Asia, Japan, Africa, the same concerns, and so people are coming together across the globe, and they're finding the same solutions. You know, the same solutions that we're looking at here in Seattle, they're looking at in Istanbul. And skills, you know, people need skills. That's the main thing, skills and vision. So one of the big rock stars of Istanbul right now is a guy who, we found some red worms under some leaves in his backyard, and so he's been breeding them and giving them away to people, and everybody's starting worm bins, and they're so lit up about it. You know, and I just love that people get lit up about stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be big, lofty things. It can be things like worm bins or, you know, just growing a little garden. It connects people. And that's what we're looking at. It's the work that connects. It's about emergence. And that's what we're coming together. And I personally would not want to live at any other time than now. I think this is one of the most exciting times to live. Can you imagine? Like, don't you feel like you're alive right now? Yeah. I mean, think about it. Think what's going on right now. And I'm talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, every aspect of creation. It's just, if you're not in wonder, I don't understand why. So I'm perpetual wonder.
I think Buckminster Fuller talked about emerging through emergencies, right? And in many ways, we see that happening. I mean, I've been back in Brazil, and this, like Penny said, the same issues are being brought up there by people that like 10 years ago wouldn't think about this stuff. So at the same time that yes, we're living a moment of crisis. It's really, as Daniel put it very nicely, it's really a crisis of consciousness. There's also a huge awakening to a new consciousness, and I think in many ways this environmental crisis, this financial crisis, serve as a unifying force to create a coherent change in society that will spread and has to spread. So we just gotta have we have to do it together and connect the dots, and that's what it's all about.
Just a couple of last quick comments. One is that Penny is running a permaculture design course, and she's got discount coupons, $100 off. It starts in just 2 weeks.
1 week.
1 week. So if you're interested, we've got those here. We have a booth, 2012 Time for Change booth, where we have a lot of related books, and we're also going to pass around clipboards for if you join. We'll send you information about the film release, and also we will add you to the Evolver mailing list so you learn about the stuff we're doing in Seattle and nationwide. And I'll be at the book signing booth if you want to chat with me for a minute. Thank you very, very much for being here. And please come see our film.
Yeah, please come see our film.
Thank you. Let's give the amazing
Once again, it's at the
man. Thank you for your
Varsity.
work.
It's at the Varsity, landmark Varsity in the university neighborhood, and please let your friends know.
University between 45th and 44th.
All right, thank you.
So stop by the 2012 Time for Change booth, and Daniel will be signing his book at the